CES 2024 kicks off next week, but My Arcade has not taken its foot off the gas in terms of dropping cryptic teaser images of this year's new products. Last night we got a peek at this yellow glowing control panel peeking out of the shadows. We'll take a quick look and see what we can discern right after this.
This video supported in part by...
Playing VR, I tend to sweat. It gives me an edge. So King of Nerds happens to give me an edge too. Let King of Nerds give you the edge. Bye, King of Nerds.
Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I'm John, and I am a GenXGrownUp, and I want to start with a quick update to this image from earlier in the week before we get into the new one. Now, at the time, we talked about that it is likely going to be some kind of control deck, but didn't know what it was attached to on the other side. Well, thanks to some friends over on social and in our Discord server, they found that on the other image, the one we didn't look at as closely, if you crank up the brightness and contrast, you can just make out what appears to be the sides of some sort of cabinet rising from the edges of that control deck. So likely not a handheld controller, but connected to some sort of standalone device. Now, what's loaded on that device and its size are unknown, but I wanted to share that at least to get us started. Okay, now let's turn our attention then to these new images from this morning over on Twitter or X, whatever it's called. I still call it Twitter. My Arcade late last night or early this morning dropped some images of this glowing thing. Now we've got two images of what appear to be the same device, and the first one is this close-up of that glowing ball again. Now we had that red glowing ball the other day. So this is almost certainly at this point a mini trackball. I mean, why else would you highlight it in two different images? So let's amp up the light a bit so we can see some more detail. Now that doesn't give us too much more insight, other than you can see over on the side to the right of the ball, there appears to be some grill work, which I think is probably a bezel. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. And also better than the red ball in the image from the other day, you can now see there's a ring around the ball, what would likely be the housing of this mini trackball, just like you would have seen on those late 90s laptops. It seems to me that the theme for My Arcade this year is, look, we have trackballs. Or at least that's what I'm deducing from these images they're highlighting. Let's look at the second image now, which I want to focus on for the rest of this video, and it really shows that ball in context. Now, once again, let me up the brightness and contrast. Though it doesn't help a whole lot, it does give us a little more detail, I guess. From the ridges on the bottom edge of this, I would say this is a handheld of some kind, either a controller or a pocket player type unit, because it would have those little ridges for you to hold it and feel comfortable in your hand. If you look around the bottom edge, that's very reminiscent of the ergonomic design of My Arcade's pocket players. Look at this Pac-Man Pro just from last year, and you can see that rounded edge that's the battery housing door and also the grip. It looks a lot like that might be what this is. Assuming then that this is the left edge of a little pocket playery device, what else can we see? Well, there are a couple of buttons up top, maybe select and home or something like that. We have a dial just above it. That could be a spinner or a paddle. I don't know. I'm again hoping for a spinner. We've had a paddle. A circle here that initially I thought, what a big button, but thinking now, is this a handheld? That's probably the signature My Arcade circular D-pad. So that's probably, you know, the control stick, the D-pad right there below that. And then finally, there's okay, I'm just gonna call it a trackball from now on. I mean, I'll just wait to be proven wrong, but below that is the trackball. And it makes more sense again if that's in fact what it is. Is it not in the way of the D-pad? I'm guessing maybe it's not, but look, someone has done ergonomic design here. I would expect the D-pad probably doesn't need to touch the trackball, and if you need the trackball, the D-pad would not be in the way, but it's all lined up there on the left-hand side. And with everything lined up on the left-hand side, and seeing that grill work on the first image, I'm thinking this is a bezel, and there's a screen off to the right, and then likely beyond that is the right-hand side of this device with some A, B, X, Y buttons or whatever, making for a wild, multi-function, multi-input, handheld gaming device. And I would like to share that I think these LED illuminated control accents look cool, and they have a lot of wow factor, but beyond that, I'm hoping that My Arcade spent some time this year upgrading their screens to improve the refresh rate and eliminate that tearing that haunted pretty much anything that wasn't just a single screen game. Now luckily, we don't have long to wait. CES 2024 is next week, and we'll see exactly what My Arcade's been hinting at. So what does this one look like to you? And if it's a pocket playery gadget, what are you hoping is loaded on it? I'm holding out hope for Lynx games myself if they're following through with the Atari license. By the way, if you happen to be going to CES, maybe you'll run into me. I'll be stalking the My Arcade booth Tuesday and Wednesday, gathering all the new gadget intel I can, so swing on by and say hello if you're there. Until then, of course, I'll throw links here and here to continuing coverage from this year's CES and the new products that come out of it. I certainly hope you found something to enjoy in this quick video, and I can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.